Hello, everyone. Sorry for a bit of a late start, but we're going to go ahead and get started with our November YuZoom. We have a bit of a good agenda for today. So as you'll remember, we will start with everyone muted. As we go through, if you have any questions, please put those in the chat. We'll be recording this, so I think it's already recording, good. Put questions in the chat, and then hopefully we'll have some time at the end for question answer where you can unmute and ask your questions. To get us started, Dr. Dotson.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's fantastic to see you today. I'm going to start with this month's safety update. I want to talk a little bit about lighting on campus. So our M&O partners did some work through Prop 39 funding to systematically upgrade all of our outside lighting to LEDs. This happened over a 5-year period. They had a contractor come in and review all of the lighting in our parking lots. And they did what's called an outdoor lighting audit. And then identified locations on campus that needed additional lighting. And in addition to that, then transitioned to LED lights on campus. They are continuing to monitor the lighting on campus. They've seen some failures of some of the devices that have been fixed. They are also working with custodial staff to survey them and work with them about lighting on campus late at night as well. We are continuing to work with them on identifying strategic lighting upgrades so that we can promote a safer environment on campus. And Yuba County Sheriffs are continuing to do nightly patrols on campus to help out with some of our safety needs and support that work. So I want to just pause to thank them for their continued work on that project in particular. And we will continue to provide some safety updates so that everyone knows some of the work that we're doing to create a safe environment for everybody involved. As you all know, we are going to have our fire drill on November 7th. We have sent information out about the fire drill. You know that it will happen on November 7th in the morning. We did provide some training at our last YuZoom for you all. And then in the month of October, we also met with all of the building POCs and offered training for them so that they know how to help us have the best possible drill that we can continue to practice our emergency response efforts. If you have any questions about the fire drill, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat today or reach out. We want to make sure that everybody knows, first of all, that it's coming, and second of all, they know what to do. We haven't done this in a while since we had COVID. We took a little bit of a break as there weren't a lot of people on campus, but we do want to move back in the direction of practicing these emergency response procedures moving forward. I'm going to spend some more time thanking a lot of people who did a lot of work for this fire drill at our December session after we've finished, but I want to just really quickly thank Mark Covington and Brian Vazuzzi, who partnered with me to provide all of the building POC trainings in the month of October. I believe that we did 3. Everybody got about 45 minutes of direct training and attention. We got a lot of questions answered, and I'm very grateful to both of them for all the work that they did to make that a success. As you all likely know, last month, we did get our EMP approved by the Board of Trustees. So we will be moving forward with finalizing our action plan and starting to bring those groups together to move some of that work into action at this point. We did spend some time this month getting the EMP updated on our website, making sure that all the references and document links are correct. We have a little bit more work to do, cleanup work to do on that, but that work does continue to move forward. A big thank you to everyone, because the truth is that EMP was a lot of work for all of us. There were a lot of focus groups, a lot of surveys, a lot of steering committee meetings, a lot of participative governance reviews and conversations. And that plan was driven by all of that feedback and all that participation. So thank you to everyone who made that a reality. And now it's time for us to put that into action. Last update is that our next YuZoom is going to be on December 7th at 4 o'clock. You should have that on your calendar. If you don't, please don't hesitate to reach out. Send myself or Zizi an email. We'll make sure that you have it and have the link. If you have any topics that you'd like to see addressed at YuZoom, or if you'd like to address something at YuZoom, you're always welcome to email me or Zulema so that we can get that on the agenda. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our next presenter. Annabelle Toche is going to talk about our Heritage Month.
Hello, everyone. So Heritage Month celebrations, November is Native American Heritage Month. I have included in the chat the link, or actually the actual background, the Zoom background. So if you can help us and participate and show appreciation for Native American heritage, we would appreciate it. We would also like to have you mark your calendars for November 14th at noon in the theater. We have the Nisenan tribal representatives giving a presentation. The title of it is Beauty of Expression Tied to Culture. So it should be a very good and informed presentation by the Nisenan tribe. So we hope to see you all there. And now back to Jeremy.
Thank you. Some brief updates from Office of Instruction. Spring 2023 schedule is live online. We'll have the PDF and some print copies available this week. Those are being finalized, as well as the print copies of the catalog. I know that those are hotly anticipated by our counseling department, especially. Scheduling for summer and fall 2023 is underway. The summer 2023 calendar, as most of you should know by now, has been adjusted so that we can observe Juneteenth. This was a requirement of legislation, but also something that we had identified early that we wanted to make sure that we did move forward with observing Juneteenth. So that has been updated on the academic calendar for summer 2023. We're making some changes to the block schedule for face-to-face courses in alignment with that. Coordinator assignments for those who applied, just wanted to give some updates for 2023-2026, that 3-year assignment. Curriculum co-chair will be continuing Elena Flax, equity coordinator, Kiara Koenig, outcomes coordinator, Dylan Nowak. So thank you to those individuals. The SEM work group, Strategic Enrollment Management work group membership has been approved by College Council, looking to fill those appointments, and then that group will start meeting soon. And then some things that aren't on here, but want to make sure that I recognized and congratulated Professor Suzanne Ruckel and her speech team students on their great event last week. And our theater department, Professor James Gilbreth and Joseph Stotman, and all of the students involved in A Midsummer Night's Dream on a great production. And then this week on Friday, there is a symphony concert in the theater. So please mark that on your calendars. With that, I will hand it off to Dean Bagley.
Thank you, Vice President Brown. Jeremy, I appreciate it. Good stuff there. So the STEM and social sciences spotlight, I'm very excited to highlight Dr. Dan Consuer. He's our 4th year tenure track professor of biology. And he's really stepped up in addition to working with microbiology, but the biological science that's been going for our allied health transfers for nursing. When I was asked about this, it really came to my mind quick. You know, Dan has stepped up in so many different ways. He's been serving on the curriculum committee for several years and helping people out with student learning outcomes as part of the outcomes committee. He's been helping out departments with doing processes with regarding to curriculum. As you know, we like to partner with outside agencies such as Yuba Water Agency and other groups and organizations like Say Love in Our Town as part of Yuba College, while Dan volunteers with the regional schools on science. it's really fun, just representing Yuba College out there proudly about what we do with science. He was a very important contributor to an actual large-scale science project with the Yuba Water Agency for science curriculum from kindergarten all the way through, college. And one thing I'm really excited to share, it kind of leads to the next slide, is Dan is our faculty lead for Avenue M. And some of you right now might go, what is Avenue M? So this is an exciting a grant funding project that the UC Davis School of Medicine has received funding to create a program that really is about getting Yuba College students, community college students, on a pipeline to go to medical school. Right now, it's a collaboration with 3 major transfer universities, including UC Davis. We got Cal Poly Humboldt, and we got California State University, Sacramento. But next slide. So we got a purpose here. One of the things that's really important with that Avenue M, we're trying to reduce the barriers. Rural areas such as Sutter County, Yuba County, we have a shortage of physicians, and that's common in many of the rural areas. So the grant that's been put forward for the UC Davis Avenue M project is allowing us to create essentially from community college all the way through a transfer university to medical school at UC Davis. If we look at it, we are just really going to be this is just started. We're on the ground floor of creating something special for our community, for our students. And as really, we're looking at trying to get students from underrepresented students to get into the medical field. And I hope that many of you will be talking with me and other people I acknowledge during this time. Next slide, please. So just want to get a scale for this. This is really a Northern California grant project with UC Davis School of Medicine, which is the only school of medicine in Northern California. But you see the community college districts, these are in rural areas. We have our Woodland colleges teaming up with us also, College of the Redwoods, just to give you a feeling of the scale. So this is the goal, just give you an idea, out of these small rural areas is getting 50 students in the first cohort. So if we go to the next slide. All right, so who's our team that's going to be working to get the information out to students? Right now, Jeremy Brown and myself are, lead contacts. I got to thank Dr. Dotson for working with the chancellor to get our MOU signed with Avenue M. This funding is going to be provided. So community college students, hopefully Yuba College, will be getting funding, wraparound support from the moment, literally within one semester being at Yuba College, they can be in the program. They're actually seeking students that are a year and a half away from transferring. So to tell everyone, if you have a student this fall semester that you think is interested in this field, you want to talk to these people on this group. Liliana Becerra, she's going to be our liaison. She's got experience with Avenue B, so it's a natural fit to get the information out there for students. Maria, who's our trio support? I blanket out today. Maria. Anyways, our trio support STEM team was working on this too. Chris Sanchez is helping out with representing student services counseling. There's funding involved, so we got Martina helping us out, Gutierrez. A lot of admissions issues, and we had Jennifer Mahler and Cassie Libb. There's going to be a lot of data studying this. We want this to succeed. So if you see any of these people or have hey, I know someone who's considering a medical career, this is an outstanding opportunity that I think we can get Yuba College students who start with us, go to UC Davis School of Medicine, and work in our community. So I'm really excited and be happy to answer any questions on this. And hearing, if you put in the chat, that's great. I need to introduce Dr. Tanya Teresh to do counseling department updates.
Hi, everyone. I'm a fill-in for Chris Sanchez today, who provided this slide as a way to help everyone know that our counseling department is offering support to help students with the registration process. So you are welcome to refer students beginning November 14th. Registration begins. And so during normal office hours, Monday through Thursday, 8 to 6, and Friday, 8 to 4, you can send students over to the counseling office who may need a little bit more support in registration. And you're welcome to scan that QR code or look for these flyers around campus in order to refer students. And then next slide, I'm covering admissions and records as well. And so connected to helping students register for classes, here are the registration dates for spring 2023. I won't read these to you, but you need to know, what you need to know mostly is that students have different registration dates. So when we say that registration starts on November 14th, that's not for every single student. We are required to follow state guidelines and registration priority. And so our special population students have first priority in registration. So you see those days 1 and 2. And then we start registering students based on the unit load that they have completed. So reminding students that registration begins on or about November 14th for them is really important. Encourage students to check their self-service. They can look online to see their registration date, so they can make a plan for the day they're planning to log in and register for those classes. They can then register through self-services. And I am turning it over to Academic Senate Meredith Selden.
Sorry, just had trouble unmuting there. So I'll make this quick. I wanted to first mention that plenary starts tomorrow. And for those that don't know, at plenary, we pass resolutions, we being the Academic Senate, the State Academic Senate, and plenary, the resolutions deal with kind of what's going on right now. So I strongly encourage you, if you haven't already, I've emailed them out a few times, but if you haven't already, take a look at the resolutions and let me know what you think about them. To help inform my vote on the final day of plenary, which is Saturday. We will vote on all the resolutions. And so I need all the input I can get. I want it to represent what everybody feels, not just what Meredith feels. So please, please, please share anything that you have. And thank you to those who have already shared. If we could go to the next slide, please. We also, the Academic Senate each time is going to try to highlight faculty, and these are faculty who have been nominated by senators. And so I want to take a quick moment to highlight together Dylan Nowak and Mark Leiden. Both of them are in the mathematics department, and they are collaborating with UC Riverside and Saddleback College to develop a new mathematics gateway that reconceptualizes how calculus is taught. And I think that sounds wonderful because the goal of it is to make STEM fields more accessible. And that I think is a super great goal. The project is funded with grant money. And they are piloting courses at Yuba College over the next few years to collect data and the benefits of implementing this new mathematics gateway. And I think that's super excited, and it's really interesting that we've now highlighted 2 STEM things today, but they're really exciting and really great work. I don't know if Dylan or Mark is here or if they want to say anything. I didn't see them, so I'm gonna assume not. But if you do, please let me know. No, okay. If we can go to the next slide. I just wanted to mention a few things that we've talked about in the Senate. Some of them I mentioned before, but one of the ones that we just recently did that I think will be really good for everybody is a pre-review process for DE courses. This is designed to get courses through DE review faster, but also to make it easier on the faculty undergoing review so they have kind of an idea about where they stand. And then also to lighten the workload on the DE committee, which has a big heavy lift. And so that will start next semester. We also passed a resolution, it's passed now, but I just wanted to mention it, a resolution in support of Undocumented Student Action Week. A lot of places have also passed the same resolution, but it is there and it's commitments that we have made to our students. So if you haven't had a chance to look at it, I recommend you do that. We also have an email address that you can email directly to. It goes to me and Melissa right now. And then when I'm no longer Academic Senate President and Melissa becomes it, will go to Melissa and whoever is the Vice President-elect. So the idea is that that email address will stay the same even as the people in the positions change. So it should be a constant and consistent way to get a hold of us. And then I mentioned this last time, but I want to mention it again. There's a new preliminary program approval process, a curriculum one. So if you are planning to submit a new program, make sure you go through that process. The information can be found there, but if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out to me. And I haven't cleared it with them, but I'm certain Lori and Elena would also be happy to answer any questions that you have about that as well. And that's all I have, unless people have questions for me. Otherwise, I will pass it off to the bookstore.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's adoption time for spring. So right now we're asking, we've already started sending out communication to everybody. We're asking that everybody please get your information to us. Right now, we are being told that if there's no books being adopted by November 30th, we have to send any new books back to the publishers. And that is, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's our direction. So I'm asking everyone to please submit your adoption information. The last thing I want to do is send away books that I know are going to be used, but unfortunately my hands are tied here. So all instructors, all deans, anybody involved, please let all the instructors know to please submit the information through Follow Discover on their Canvas, or even preferably emails my assistant, Sarah Mann, at 0640asm@follett.com. It's right there on the screen. Even if you're not using any material, please, we need that information. We need to know that you're not using anything. That way we can check off your courses as complete. And when students come in, we can actually, when we look up their book list, we can tell them that there's no course materials required, instead of we're still waiting to hear back from your instructor, which we get to say that to students quite a bit. So that's not the message we want to relay to them. So even if you're not using any course materials, please get back to us, and that way we can finalize the course. One thing is Mike Weber in the print shop is going to be retiring. He handles a lot of the materials for the campus. So I think he said this week, I think he put a deadline last week for instructors. He actually sent out communication to everybody. If there was anything that they needed to please let him know, let us know, so we can adopt it. We can get him a purchase order and he can come in and he can produce all this stuff. I believe after this semester, he's not going to be available to us. So right now we're looking at possible digital. I know we've got a company called Xanadu that we may be able to go through. The only concern for me is if there's an increase in the materials, which is something I don't want to do, because everything that we produce here on campus is very affordable to the students, and we want to keep the cost down. So I am going to reach out to Xanadu and see if we can do the printing through them, and try to get a cost on some of the things and see if we can continue to offer printed materials to the students instead of going digital, just because some students want the packets. So that's something that I'm going to be looking at. So when we initially sent out the information to start submitting the adoptions, there were two instructors that got to us immediately. Mr. Chetra was the first instructor. So for Mr. Chetra, we have a prize for him. It's this really nice 20-ounce flask. Annabelle recognizes it because she got some for her staff, but it's a really nice eco vessel. It's a triple walled for his coffee, for his drinks on his way to work. But this is his prize for responding right off the bat. And it's a $32 prize for him. Well, before I go to number two, let me tell you something about Mr. Chetra. So Mr. Chetra is one of my favorite instructors. He's very passionate about what he does. He calls us and he asks us, hey, is my material on the shelf? Do you have enough of it? How much do I have? He is very passionate about making sure that his students have the material. At one point, he had us take a picture of the shelf of where his stuff was, because he was not going to allow a student to say the bookstore doesn't have it. He wanted evidence, so we took a picture of it. We sent it to him. We thought it was great. And he shares our passion for helping students. So I appreciate that from Mr. Chetra. He frequents the bookstore quite a bit. So for him, we have this great flask. You can use it for coffee, cold drinks, whatever. And then number 2 was Lynette Garcia from the nursing. She was the second one that got all her information into us. So Lynette, if you're on there, we have a gift card for you for the bookstore if you want to come in. If not, we'll send you an email and we will either deliver it to you or let you know that it's here for you to pick up. So I want to thank all the instructors who have gotten back to us so far. We're at 16% of the adoptions. We'd really like to be at about 50 or 60% at this point because that just means we can get the books in here sooner for the students. Right now, it's really difficult for some of these publishers to get some of the textbooks, whether it's staffing issues, it's still kind of the hangover from the pandemic, but we're still having a lot of issues with automotive, some of the chemistry lab notebooks, and just kind of some random books here and there. So we really want to make sure that we have all the information by November 25th. And that's really because by the 30th, I have to ship everything back that is not adopted. And it just kind of a waste to ship something back only to have to order it and hope that it does come in. And that's right now, the word is hope that it comes in, just because we don't know from title to title if it's going to come in. A lot of the books were back ordered until early October. School started mid-August, so a lot of students went without the materials that they needed for a long period of time. I know that some of the chemistry lab books are still on back order. They're over 8,000 units on back order, so there's a lot of campuses around the country that are missing a lot of books and materials that they need for their students. So we really need to get that information. I can't stress that enough, that the sooner we get the adoption information, the sooner we can get these books. You know, just communicate, send us a quick email, have the secretary send us an email, whatever the case may be, we need to have that information. We also have a 4-day sale going on. It starts tomorrow. It's 20% off of all merchandise, but we do have an extra 20% off coupon that we were handing out for disability awareness and for trunk or treat. So if you come in, we do have that coupon for anybody at any time, even after that 4-day sale. Just come on in and ask, and I'll give you that 20% off. I know Annabelle was very appreciative of her staff. She came in and she cleaned house and bought them the brand new windbreakers that we've got, some of these flasks that the crew got. So they were all very happy. Hopefully they're a lot more productive for you. So Annabelle, you're gonna have to share those stories with everybody else on if they want to get more productivity out of their people, what they need to do. And we're located at the 300 building. Come by and see us. That's all I got. So thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. My name is Sonia Lawland. I'm the Vice Chancellor of Education and Planning, and it's my absolute pleasure today to highlight some great work that Yuba College has been doing working with folks from across the district. The project is called Degrees When Due, and it's a pilot that we started about 1.5 years ago. And I just wanted to give you an update on some of the amazing impact this work that the folks from Yuba College have done. So what is Degrees When Due? Well, it's a national completion initiative that's really focused on completion, getting students across that finish line. So we, both Yuba and Woodland and the district, pulled together a team, and we started with cohort 3. In that cohort was UC Davis, Sac State, Sierra College, and Los Rios. And so we did a pilot for 6 months, but we've continued that work and we're getting ready to move into phase 2. And that's what I want to share with you today. Next slide, please. So basically, high level, what the work entailed in the pilot and this ongoing phases of it is we are running reports to find students who have completed but did not file a petition to get their degree or certificate. So we are reaching out to those students, and then if they don't opt out, making those awards, even though they didn't complete that petition. The other part of the work is to identify students who are like 1 or 2 classes away from a degree or a certificate and then reaching out to those students and encouraging them, hey, did you know you're only one class away and we're offering that class at 10 o'clock next week, starting next week. So there's kind of two parts to it. But the impact of this work has been kind of amazing. What we're seeing kind of across the board is a 32% increase in awards, and that's from term to term to term. In total, the pilot and then the ongoing work, from this work, we've awarded over 2,000 additional awards that wouldn't have been made if students hadn't, because students, sometimes just have hit that petition barrier or don't realize that they've completed. So the team has done some really amazing work. Next slide. So because of this, we're trying to figure out how do we sustain this effort? How do we really get this into part of our normal processes? And so we're looking at schools who are out ahead of us, and many of these institutions have been doing auto awarding for quite a number of years. And so that's what we're really looking at as phase 2. And so we want to engage with everybody in that conversation about what would auto award look like for our district. And so just basically what auto awarding is when an institution will confer a degree or a certificate without the student having to do the petition. Oftentimes you keep the petition process so students can still petition, because sometimes there's those really complex cases that it makes sense to have a petition process in place. But if a student doesn't petition and they've earned that award, you confer that degree or cert, but give them the opportunity to opt out. We think it's next slide, please. We think it's really important because Title V does say that we shall confer an associate degree when a student completes and meets all those. Shall in legalese means you need to do it. So we think probably instituting auto award also really gets us into compliance here as well. Next slide, please. So basically, we're kind of wanting to engage with the college and chat about this and think about what auto awarding might look like for us. And so we had some conversations at College Council and with the students ASYC yesterday, but we'll also be engaging with the Academic Senate and the Student Services Division to kind of talk about this and get feedback. So I'm really basically just here today to shout out to all the people involved in this amazing work. They've been working really hard, and also to invite you to come and participate in this conversation. So thank you. It's great to see everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Lawland. Okay, so we have plenty of time for question and answer. Anyone have any questions for anyone who presented today?
Jeremy, this is Sherry from Admissions. So you guys were talking way at the beginning of this about the printed course schedules coming out and how they're a hot commodity. It's not a hot commodity just for staff, but also we have students all the time asking us for printed copies still, and we just have to tell them that it's online. And I get that we stopped printing them for everybody because of the cost, but I had a student come through recently that actually had a pretty good idea, and I was wondering, I just wanted to bring it up. He was saying at Sac State they do print course schedules, but they're for sale at the bookstore. So then people pay like $2-4 or something to buy it if they really want a paper copy. And I was wondering if that was something we might think about for our students, because a lot of people do still ask for paper, and when we say it's online, they're like, so food for thought.
Thank you for that. We printed, I'm not sure how many copies, Annabelle, but we printed some copies that would be brought over to A&R and to counseling and to the library, to the different areas that received copies of the catalog. So if there are students who just need to kind of sit and look through the printed schedule, I mean, one of the challenges of the printed schedule is the second you print it, it's not correct. So we will have some printed copies both at Sutter and at Marysville that students can leaf through. But yeah, thank you for that note. Any other questions? we'll hang out for a bit, but if not, then thank you, everyone. And the next YuZoom is December 7th, I think is what Dr. Dotson put on the first slide. So we will see you then. If you have ideas, please reach out. Ideas for topics. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Jeremy, so Greg retired.
He did. Yes.
All right.
Celebration.
I let Diane know how happy I am for the family.